Hello everyone, and today I'm bringing you some projects that I've already done. I already made a video on that were the most popular for me, and I have picked up, some new subscribers, and I thought maybe they might like to see this. So on this first project, this is just a Dollar Tree, a little sled, and I took it apart. I'm going in with the color of Cashew by Waverly. And I'm just giving it one good coat of paint. And I love this color Cashew. It goes really well with just about anything. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint both of the little sticks that go with it. Now what I'm doing is I got this beautiful scrapbook paper book from Joann Fabric. And I'm going to go in and I'm just going to trace out the shape of the sled using this paper. And I will go in and trace it out, and then I will cut it out with my scissors. And isn't that just beautiful? Sort of like a vintage, well, it is kind of like vintage looking. Like I said, the reason that I'm doing this video of projects I've already done is so that, it'll give my new subscribers just that opportunity to see what I have done. Some of my completed projects that may not have had a chance to look at my playlist. This is the first time I've ever done one of these types of videos. But I do hope that you enjoy the content and maybe get some inspiration, to recreate one of these. And I'm going in with the jumbo glue stick and just applying a generous amount of glue to this paper. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some to the little sled as well, making sure to pay close attention to getting the corners down. Sometimes you have to go back in and do them a second time. Then I'm just going to add the paper on the top like this and flatten it out. Like on these flat surfaces, to me, it's a lot easier than using the Mod Podge. And it holds just as well. Going back in, and I'm going to be picking out another piece of scrapbook paper to go on this little part. And I mean, this has to be absolutely the most beautiful scrapbook paper that I've ever come across. Now I'm going in, adding a generous amount of hot glue to the back, and I will be adding each one of the sticks to each side of the little sled. And this little piece of decor, oh, I just love it. And then I'll be adding that piece to the bottom using a hot glue. And I'm using my Sure Bonder hot glue gun, which is my favorite. Now I'm going in. I had this little pink bow in my stash. And I'm going to just go in and I'm going to glue it to the top of the little sled. Also, I'm going in and I'm just dovetailing the ends of the ribbon just to make it look just a little bit nicer. And now I'm going in and I'm going to add some greenery, little pieces of the little greenery picks and a couple of white berries. I do go in and I add some ribbon in the little holes at the top, for the little string. And it turns out just gorgeous. And I hope you all like it too. On to the next project. What you're looking at here is just one of the glass candle holders from the Dollar Tree. I'm also going in with the color of Cashew and just giving this a good coat of paint. And I have this autumn sign I always try to use up what I have in my stash. I'm going in with the color of Ballet Slipper by Waverly, and I'm going around the edges of this little box, or this little picture, and I'm giving it a good coat of paint all the way around on all 4 sides. And then what I'm going to do for the middle part is I'm going to go in with the color of Cashew again and give it just one good coat, because I will be adding some more of that gorgeous scrapbook paper to the front. And I felt like I didn't really need to add more than one coat of paint. And like I said, I really love this pink color for Christmas. It's something just a little bit different. Okay, now what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be going in and adding some glue with my jumbo glue stick from the Dollar Tree. This is a staple in my crafting stash. I absolutely love it. And I'm going in with some more beautiful paper. Just going to lay it down. Make sure all the edges are down real well. And then I'm going to be going in. I have this little flower from Solo Wood Flowers. And I'm just going to be placing it down there, along with some more of the greenery from the picks. The garland picks, I think that's what you call it. And then I was going to add just a little lace bow, shoestring bow. And I realized I needed to remove the flower, and then I'll place the flower on top of the bow. And I think this turns out cute. I hope y'all like it too. Then I'm going to go in with some hot glue on top of the candlestick. Glue the little picture down. I had to go in and add glue twice actually to get it to stay. And I finally get it in the right place on the second attempt. And this little project is finished. Now going on to the next project in this setting, I'm going in with Ballet Slipper and just this little white base that I picked up from the Dollar Tree. It actually took me 2 coats of paint to cover this completely. I absolutely love this color. One of my favorites. Well, I have quite a few, but this is like, one of my top picks. And it just goes on so smooth. I love it. Hope y'all are enjoying these little videos here. Okay, it's finished now. What I'm going to do is I took another piece from that same scrapbook paper book, and I'm going in with some Mod Podge on this one, and I'm just adding a generous amount. Takes me a little bit to get it on there properly, to get it where it'll stick, because it's excuse me, it's kind of sitting at a little bit of a awkward angle here, but I managed to get through it. And then after I get it pressed down, I go in and add, more Mod Podge to the top. It just doesn't want to stick for me. And then I thought, well, yeah, I should have put some on the actual surface as well. But you learn as you go along. It still turned out, I think, really cute. I'm just pressing it down with my thumb, trying to get it out, you know, to lay down evenly. But it's okay if it's got a little bit of wrinkles because it's got that vintage look to it, so it doesn't have to be perfect. And, you know, you have to give yourself some grace on some of these things. And I decided to put more Mod Podge on the back, which I should have done in the first place, but... Okay, and just smearing it, pushing it all in there. More Mod Podge. Thank you, Plaid, for sending me all this Mod Podge. A little bit more behind it. Just about finished, just about ready to start adding the embellishments. Okay, and then what I'm going to do next is I had these pill and stick gems, and I went ahead and I painted some of them while they were already on the still on the paper, and let them dry that way before I applied them to this. See, I had already went in and painted them, and I'm just taking them and I'm going all the way around this little picture. Oh, I think it just added the perfect touch to this. They're actually really easy to work with. If you've never tried them, I mean, you don't have to paint them the exact same color as, you know, like I painted the vase pink and then the beads pink. You can paint them any color you want. And I have a little bit of trouble with the last ones here. Trying to get that perfect fit. And then when I would add this last one right here, I mean, these are pretty cool because, you know, if you get extra, you can pull them apart. Well, I pulled them apart too much and too many came out. But with just a little bit of adjusting, we get it right. And then what I'm going to be doing next is I'm going to be going in with these beautiful rose gold poinsettias. And I picked them up at the Dollar Tree. There was only a few left, you know, like a few bunches. And I was like, those are so beautiful. And I went ahead and grabbed them. I knew they would work perfect for this specific project. And I'm just going to go place them in. Just like no specific place, just they're still in the bundle, just put them in there. I'm going in with some pine cone picks, putting a few of those in with a little bit of greenery, as you can see. Then I'm going in with these green berries, and I'll be adding a few of them throughout this floral arrangement. And I'll be getting ready to do the final reveal on all three projects. Okay, everyone, on to the next DIY. I have this wreath that was given to me by my sister, which I appreciated it so much. I'm going to go in with these little embellishments, these little gifts. I picked these up at Walmart, and they were very reasonably priced. And I'm just going in and randomly placing them on the wreath. And I love the colors of them. It's going to go really good with the rest, you'll see. And then I'm going to go in here in a second with these little Christmas bulbs that were picked up at Walmart as well. For this specific wreath, I mean, you can't get enough embellishments for it. So here I am. I'm just keeping on adding them on. And this is such a large piece. I'm sorry that I couldn't get it all into frame at one time. Okay, there's the little Christmas bulbs. I think these are so stinking cute. And amazingly enough, everything stuck really well. Like, I didn't have any pieces falling off. I had to, you know, glue a couple of them on with extra glue, but it turned out really nice. I'm just going around putting them in different places. Okay, now I'm going to go in and I'm adding these little figures. And I'm pretty sure you can tell which movie. This specific video came from a Christmas movie inspired DIY playlist that I was involved with. And there's the Santa. And Mrs. Claus right next to her. I'm going to add all the characters on here. Like I said, Santa had to have a little bit of extra glue. And this here is one of my favorite projects that I created. And there's the little airplane. Oh, I think this is so cute. Okay, now I'm going in and I'm just making one of those little messy bows where you crisscross. I'm using some purple, some candy stripes, some green, and then some ribbon that says just Merry Christmas on it. Just keeping it in a crisscross form. And I thought for this specific project that this would be the best way to go for a bow. And I just keep stacking it on. What I'm going to do next, I'm going to take a little piece of jute twine. I'm going to tie it in the middle. Tie it real tight and do a double knot. And then just trim off the excess jute. Then I take it and bend it and just fluff it out a little bit. Okay, guys, here's the finished project. There is Rudolph in the middle with all of the little toys surrounding him. And like I said, it's one of my favorites, and I hope you all like it too. Please leave comments in the comment box. I really enjoy reading them, and I will comment back. On this next project, I just have a wooden picture frame. I believe I picked it up at a garage sale for 25 cents. I'm going in with the color of Plaster by Waverly, and I'm just giving it one good coat of paint. This is a very easy project here, but one of my favorites. Just making sure I get the inside around the frame as well. And then as soon as that is dry, I go in and I have this little, the backing part of it. I'm going in with my glue stick, applying a generous amount of glue here. And then I'm just adding this little printable. It's from the movie Rudolph, and so I'm just going to add it on here like this. And then I'll be going in and adding 2 pieces of ribbon, one across the top and one across the bottom, and placing it back into the frame. And like right here, I went MIA for a few seconds because I think what I was doing is I was trying to locate the ribbon that was sitting on the table right next to me, and I didn't see it. You know, I'm sure that, you know, if you do DIYs, you know, this has happened to you before, but trust me, I've come right back on the scene. Right there I am. I went after that ribbon. If you've made it with me this far through this long video, I really want to thank you. I appreciate you watching. If you're not yet a member of my YouTube family, I ask that you consider hitting the subscribe button, the like button, that post notification bell. Just keep you informed every time I upload. And I do have quite a few more Christmas DIY projects in store for you. So, and this little project's finished. Added a little bow. And I think it turned out really, really cute. On the next project, I just have these, excuse me, I have these 3 little glass candle holders that I picked up from the Dollar Tree, as well as these 3 little ceramic gnomes. And what I'm doing is I'm just going in and I'm adding some hot glue to the bottom. I have it turned upside down. I'm putting one on each one of the little candlesticks. This is super simple, but it turns out really, really nice. It just goes to show you do not have to spend a lot of money, you know, to have nice pieces of decor in your home. I'm going in with this baker's twine. I had some blue and I thought, okay, well, I'm just going to go around and make just a little shoestring bow right in the front. Wrapped it around a few times, and then I am trimming it off and tying a bow. And then we go on. I'm sorry, guys. Ooh, allergies again. We go to the next one, to the green one with the green hat. I didn't have green, but I did have yellow. So I'm wrapping around a few times and just tying it out a little bow once again and trimming off the excess. Then I did have some red baker's twine, so that worked out perfect. Once again, doing the same on this one, trimming it off, tying a little bow, and then off camera, you'll see where I went in and I added a little greenery as well as some little berries to the front of each one. I set them on top of a little LED candle. And here they are. I just think they're so stinking cute. Let me know what you think in the comments below, please. Okay, here we have these little doll houses from the Dollar Tree. I'm going in and I'm painting them with white chalk paint. And what I want to, let you know on these, if you decide to recreate these, make sure that you add Mod Podge prior to painting, because it's really, really hard to get any type of paint to grab a hold of the plastic. On this one, you can see I have taken out the windows and the doors. And so what I'm going to do here is, on this one, I'm going in with Apple Barrel Black. And I'm just painting around this little windowsill here. And I do that for all the pieces on this specific house. And working with these little doll houses, they're absolutely, it's so fun. It really is. Okay, so, and here's another one I did. I painted the windows and the trim with Tuscan Red by Folk Art. I'm going in with these little pill and stick gems. And I'm going to be using these to act as Christmas lights. And you'll see in the end that that's exactly what they look like. I thought, oh, it worked out really well. And these little pill and sticks were they're a little bit different than the other ones. These are held together with almost like a real thin jute twine. And they are just a little bit harder to cut. So I'm just taking and making one strip across the top of this little house. And then here you'll see that I couldn't pull them apart. I had to use the scissors. Then I'm going to be taking this piece. And I'm going to go across that little awning that's on top of that window. And I'll be doing that all the way up on this house. In my last video, prior to this video, I made gingerbread houses with these. So if you'd like to check that video out as well, if you haven't yet seen it. I'm just going in with a little bit of the greenery sticks and made some little wreaths to go across the windows. Adding some berries as I go. And trimming them, you have to trim it out a little bit. To me, I think this looks like, more of a traditional style, home that you would see decorated. I absolutely love it. I love the way it turned out. And this one will go on the window in the front. And then I have one that's a little bit larger that I have to work with it a little bit to get it to fit onto the door. These little houses are very small. They're a lot smaller in person than they are on the video. And I went in and took a little pine cone off of this other Christmas ornament that I had. And I added some berries and put the pine cone in the middle. It was the perfect touch for this little wreath. Went in with some hot glue. And I glued it down after I gave it a haircut. That little house is finished. Now we're going to go on, and you can see I went ahead and started on the other house. I just went in and I did a little trim on it, not as much as the other one. And I just made a couple of little wreaths. Once again, like I did for the other one, but I placed this wreath up above the door. I think it turned out so cute. Like I said, what I like about these little houses is you can do so many different things with them. It's just amazing. Okay, now, I don't know why I'm showing you this part again. Just bear with me, guys. I've never done a video this long before. And the editing on it it was just a little bit tricky for me. But we got through it. Just putting that right on there like that. And we'll get through this real quick. And then we'll go on to the next step. What I'm doing now is up at the top of the house, I'm going in with some Mod Podge. And I'm going to be putting it in different places on the house. And I'm going to go in with this fake snow. And I'm going to be putting it in several, like I said, several different places. I didn't want to open up the bag too wide because I didn't want it all to fall out at once. I would have had a big mess. And here I am adding some Mod Podge to this portion of the house. And then the snow. And I do the same thing on the other house as well. You can actually see this one a little bit better. It's more in frame. And I actually like this brand of fake snow that I'm using. I picked it up at Walmart. You know, I had tried to use those little styrofoam balls, but they're horrible. Like, they almost float and get away from you and end up all over the place. Okay, now what I'm doing is I have this canvas I picked up from the Dollar Tree. I'm going in and just adding some Mod Podge right here. I'll add a little Mod Podge, and then I'll add some snow. And I'll repeat that all the way across this board. Now I go a little bit heavy on this. Because I'm one of these people, I love snow. I absolutely love it. I think I like looking at it more than I do having to get out in it. But yeah, I like it. I placed one of the houses on there. Going in, adding more Mod Podge. And then more snow. And then I place the other house on it, and the embellishment part, I actually lost the footage, but I add a couple Christmas trees and a little snowman. Just several little things you'll see when I do the final reveal. And here we go with some more of this beautiful snow. Just tried to cover this board the best that I could. And then I'm going to go in with some glitter and try to make it sparkle a little bit here in a second. There's the glitter. Well, I guess I thought it needed quite a lot of glitter. Okay, here's the final reveal. You can see that I added Santa with 2 Marines and a child for toys for tots. And a deer, and we have a little snowman standing there, and the 3 trees came from the Dollar Tree. I hope you enjoyed those projects. Okay, on the next project here, I have these little wooden crates that I purchased from the Dollar Tree. I will be using 4 in total. What I'm doing here is I am going in with Crimson Red by Apple Barrel, and I'm going all the way across. I'm doing the top as well as the bottom slat on these crates. In the middle, I'm going in with Apple Barrel White. I do the middle of each one of them as well as the top and the bottom. And I do almost the whole entire inside as well. Okay, now here I'm going in with some puffy paint, and I am creating some snow. I will do this on each one of the little crates, going all the way across. And I do it on both sides. Okay, now this is going to be the very first car. I painted it all in the Crimson Red, added some snow. This is just a little wooden box from the Dollar Tree. I'm going in and gluing it to the top of this other red crate. This is be the first car. Now I'm going back to the other 3. I got these little peppermint embellishments from Amazon, and I will be putting 2 on each side of all of the cars. And if you haven't figured it out yet, I'm making a Christmas train. My grandchildren came over and seen it. They just loved it. And basically that's one of the main reasons I made this is for them. Because I decorate one area in my home for my grandchildren. And then we have our regular tree that my husband and I decorate. Okay, that little car's finished. And I love these little peppermints. Okay, we're going to go back to the first car here. And I was going to add, you know how the first car of a train, they always have the bigger wheel and then smaller ones. Well, that didn't work out for me, so I'm going to be putting just 4 of the little peppermint pieces, 2 on each side. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I have these little plastic snowflakes. They came from Walmart. I'm putting 1 on each side of this little car here. What I was going to do, I was going to put Merry Christmas sign on the front, and it was too big. Then the initial that I was going to put on it was too big. So I thought, you know, no, I'm going to have a little Santa Claus gnome right there in the front. Then I came in, I have this little red bow, and I thought it would be perfect. I'm going to put it on the very front of this little train. Okay, we're going to go on and we're going to start filling up these little cars here. I have a Santa. As you can see, he's very round, like Santa is supposed to be. I had trouble getting him to stand in there, so I had to use quite a lot of hot glue. And in the next car, I'm going to add another one of those little gnomes I picked up from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to just put him in this side right there. And I have this little Christmas tree that I picked up from the Hobby Lobby. It was 40% off. Then we're going to go on to the next car. Let me see. Now we're going to put a wreath on the very end of the cars. Now what I'm doing is trying to get it to fit. I did trim it, but I didn't want to trim it close to where I had, you know, fresh paint and stuff, because it would have just made a big mess. So I moved it over to the side to do the trimming. So that's what I'm doing here. And just placing it on the very back car. Then I decided I'm going to go ahead and add this little ribbon embellishment that I took off of a different ornament and stuck it back there as well. I went in and I added some floral foam. I have this brush tree that I picked up from Dollar General, and I have these little pom-poms, and these stick so easy to these trees. I'm just putting them on here like so, just in random places. And I just love the way this little tree turned out. And I had some floral foam, and I just put some hot glue in it. I placed the tree in there. And I was going to take the puffy fiber fill stuff and put it in there for snow, and it just didn't work out. It just didn't look right. So I went in and I removed that. And I go in and I just add some fake snow. I just start pouring it in. Putting a little Mod Podge. I don't know why I put it in there like that. No, I'm sorry. Let me correct myself. I went in and added some of these little presents at the bottom of this tree. That little car is complete. Going on to the next one, he's just going to get some snow. And I used the floral foam just to raise it up a little bit in there. I actually put a little Mod Podge on the top of his head and put some snow on it. And that one is finished. On the last final one, I just go in and glue this Christmas tree down on some floral foam, like so. And I go in and I start adding the snow. And that one is finished. Now we're going back to the little car here. I'm showing you this one. Here is the finished train. Okay, on to the next DIY. I have this little wooden Christmas tree that my sister was so kind. She built me 2 of these. And on this one, I'm going in and I'm completely painting it with apple barrel white from the bottom all the way to the top. I do not do the stand because it will be covered with a little tree skirt. Now I'm going in with the crimson red, and I'm going to do every other one of the wooden slats across all the way to the top. Make sure that I get the ends painted as well. Okay, now what I'm going to do for the embellishment is I got this berry garland from the Dollar Tree. I got the red and the white, and I'm just going around, wrapping it around the tree. I do have to go in off camera, off film, and I go in and I straighten it all out because it moved around quite a lot. I didn't want to hot glue it because I reused my stuff, and I thought I might, next year maybe I want to change it up a little bit. Just going in and twisting it, and then I'll trim off a piece. Go ahead and add it to the other one. Now what I'm going to do here is I had an extra one of the snowflakes left over, and I'm just going to be gluing it to the top of the tree using just a little small amount of hot glue. And here's the finished project. Okay, what we have here, I just have this glass vase that I picked up from the Dollar Tree, and these little picks from the Dollar Tree. I just broke them apart. What I was going to do here is just glue them inside of the little vase all the way around, and it didn't want to stick. So I decided I was going to just glue them to this vase, and still yet they didn't want to stick. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to take one of the vases and glue it down into the other one, and just start trying to place the greenery in just by laying it in there. And I was able to do it that way. And I just do it all the way around. And then I'm going to be going in and adding some berries. And you'll see here in a second that I had to, take the end of the scissors to kind of move them around. I just wanted to put a little bit here and there. I really didn't have much space to work with to get them down in there, but I managed to do it. Okay, then what I'm going to do here now, you can see I took the scissors in and just moved them around. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to be adding a candle. And I don't know for the life of me why I thought that I could add hot glue to the bottom of a candle and it would stick, because that did not work. You'll see here in a second. Just trying to get that base straight. Here I go with the hot glue on the candle. It just made it slide around more. So I eventually have to take my lighter and go in and melt some of the wax and, let it grab a hold of, drop some of the wax down in the bottom of the vase, and that worked perfectly. Now what I'm doing here is I'm just going to go in with this buffalo check ribbon here, and I'm just going to be going around, and I'll trim it off here and use some hot glue to attach it. And then I will be making just a normal shoestring bow to go on top of that. I had to take my fingers here and go around and make sure all the ribbon was laying down flat. And here I go, just to make a little bow. Went in and dovetailed the ends. And then once I put it on, I realized it was just a little bit big, and I just had to pull the ends of it a little bit, and that worked just fine. Just fluffing them up a little bit here. Here I go with the lighter. That done the trick. Here's the finished project. On to the last one. I picked up this tree at the Family Dollar, and I'm going in with the color of hazelnut, and I'm adding some just basic white apple barrel paint to it to get the color. I'm trying to get gingerbread color. So I painted over it. It took 2 coats of paint to get through. And to make sure, I had to go back over it several times to get into the little crevices of it all. And then I'm going in with just some puffy paint and adding some detail. And then after that I go in and I just add some gumdrops. Some green and red and white gumdrops. And I want to thank you all for stopping by and taking the time to watch my video. I hope you found something that inspired you, for you to recreate. And I hope you all have a very blessed and wonderful day and enjoy the rest of the video.